After getting several rounds of iPadOS 16 updates and some new iPads released in the past few months, the 5th generation iPad Air with the M1 chip probably makes a lot of sense to own now. To be honest with you, I haven't had an idea on how to review this when I got it back then because it is such an iterative upgrade over its predecessor, and anyone could have just picked up a refurbished or used M1 iPad Pro during that time with a better value. Now that the iPad lineup has begun to settle a little, it's time to talk about why this could be a good value device compared to its siblings and of course, the MacBook Air. Let's begin by taking a look at the starting price of the current 11-inch iPad Pro, iPad Air, and entry-level iPad. The price difference between the trio is pretty big for both the Wi-Fi and cellular models, and by all means, neither can be considered affordable, which is the reason I feel that the 5th gen iPad Air is the better choice if you really need an 11-inch iPad, because it is an all-rounder between the Pro and entry model. I mean, since you're already spending more than 2,000 ringgit for a tablet, there's really no harm topping up that significant extra cash from the entry iPad's base price, as you get a better display, faster USB-C port with external display support, and support for the 2nd generation Apple Pencil. While the additional amount you save from the base M2 iPad Pro can be used to purchase accessories, because trust me, you are going to want to spend on at least the folio keyboard case to make the iPad Air useful. Now, most of you looking at the iPad Air will be probably going for at least the 256GB Wi-Fi model, not unless you're looking to use it as a mere web browsing or expensive photo frame. Adding up the optional accessories will easily get you near to the price of a base M1 MacBook Air. You might end up in a dilemma thinking if you should just get the MacBook or stay with the iPad Air. Because let's face it, these two are very different computers. I mean, if you were to consider an iPad a computer despite being a tablet form factor. The MacBook Air is definitely going to be a more capable device when it comes to doing actual things such as multitasking, video editing, office work, watching movies, and more. You can even install third-party apps off the App Store, because it runs macOS, a proper computer operating system that has been in existence for 2 decades. But you lose out the portability of an iPad Air and a touchscreen. The iPad Air runs iPadOS, which by all means is still OS X at its core, but you are locked down to apps from the App Store. It can sometimes be more fun interacting apps on the touchscreen, and you can sometimes find way more useful apps than you do on macOS. Apple finally added proper external display and multi-window support with Stage Manager on iPadOS 16. The rants I made about these features in the previous video has been mostly resolved. These features can finally work without needing to use the expensive Magic Keyboard. Apps on multi-window now scales better, and Stage Manager can be pretty useful once you set up the group of apps you want to use. However, multitasking on an iPad still doesn't feel as straightforward as you do on macOS, even when you use it on an external display. For instance, I use it with a 42-inch 4K monitor, and apps can't be scaled smaller to fit more on such a high-res display. I can't have app shortcuts or widgets placed on an external monitor for faster access, and the list can go on and on. But I'm sure you get the point. The iPad Air or any iPad is ultimately designed to do just only one thing or at max 2 things at the same time, which to most people who wants a computer that works, it works. The M1 chip is still an overkill on the iPad Air, and I still don't see much apps taking advantage of the chip's performance. While there's video editing apps such as DaVinci Resolve that could take advantage of it, I didn't like the user interface because everything just feels too big on an external display, and I have to do quite a bit of guesswork on finding the features that I want. I use CapCut on the iPad Air for editing short videos, and the experience has been just as decent as it is on a MacBook. On top of that, the iPad Air's tablet form factor has so much advantage over a MacBook. It is super lightweight to hold when you want to watch movies on the couch or bed. You can take it around when making a FaceTime call. It has a really good rear and front camera that you can really take advantage to take photos and presentation slides, and it can fit into smaller bags better than a MacBook. Furthermore, the iPad Air has 5G connectivity, which you can't get on a MacBook, which is super convenient if you need to always stay connected and don't want to deal with wireless tethering. The bottom line here is that the iPad Air is an excellent device as a tablet and a simple yet flexible computer. No doubt the upfront hardware cost is a lot for anyone wanting such a device. The form factor, performance, and starting price is the one thing that will compel most to pick it up. Not to mention that iPadOS can be less overwhelming for those who doesn't want to deal with complex desktop operating systems. It ultimately depends on the workflow you want to do on it, and I really think you should go for the iPad Air if it suits your needs. So yep, that's pretty much my thoughts on the 5th generation iPad Air after using for more than 6 months. So let me know what are your thoughts in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.